Eric Hunter faces Tyrell Samuel in our leadoff bout here on Showbox. Eric Hunter is a 20-year-old, two-year pro out of Philadelphia. He's been fighting since he was 8 and had an excellent amateur career, winning 172 of 176 fights. Hunter was a national junior Olympic champion and an Olympic alternate in the 2004 games. As for style, fast hands, moves well, can fight inside and bang the left hook. His only loss came this past January following a year layoff when he dropped a 6-round decision. Hunter's won 2 straight since then and is now 7-1 with 3 knockouts. Take us behind those numbers, Steve.
Well, Nick, Eric Hunter, he's still a newborn. It's very early in his pro career. He's only 20. He's fought only 29 rounds, and this is his first bout scheduled for longer than 6 rounds. Common opponent. Interestingly, Hunter's one loss came against Carlos Vinan, who has been twice beaten by Samuel. At small feather, Hunter scaled only 123 pounds last time out. Samuel's fought as high as 135 and has been campaigning at junior lightweight.
Tyrell Samuel, born and raised in Baltimore, didn't start boxing until he was 19. He had only 23 amateur fights, turned pro 2 years ago. Samuel's a boxer-puncher who can't match Hunter's hand speed, but he's aggressive and also has a good left hook. He won his first 9, but in his most recent fight this past April, Samuel got into a slugfest and was TKO'd in 4. 25-year-old Tyrell Samuel, 9-1, 5 knockouts. Steve, take us behind the numbers.
Well, losing his 0. Last time out, Samuel was stopped in a shootout by a fighter who was 9-6. This is a pretty tough comeback bout. Amateur numbers. As a pro, Samuel's numbers are similar to those of Hunter, but Samuel's had only 23 amateur bouts to 176 for Hunter. That's the big difference between these two. And green opponents. Samuel's 10 opponents had engaged in a combined 59 bouts. He's a rookie who's been matched so far with rookies.
2 young featherweights are about to get it on when lightning-quick Eric Hunter faces Tyrell Samuel in a bout scheduled for 8. We're ready for the action on Showbox from Atlanta, so let's go up to ring announcer J.D. Lyons.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Far West Rodeo here in Doraville, Georgia for Showbox, the new generation. Tonight's bouts are brought to you by Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing in association with Atlanta KO Kings and Showtime. Tonight's action is sanctioned by the Georgia State Athletic and Entertainment Commission, Chairman J.J. Biello, Executive Director Kelly Farr. Introducing the 3 judges scoring at ringside, Ed Cantor, Erwin Deutsch, and Nola Oliver. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing your referee, the 3rd man in the ring and in charge of the action, Brian Stutz. And now, boxing fans, we present to you this featherweight attraction scheduled for 8 rounds of boxing. Introducing first, and fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white with black trim and weighing in at 126 pounds. He enters the ring tonight with his professional record standing at 9 victories, only 1 defeat. He has 5 big wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome, from Baltimore, Maryland, Tyrell, the show shocker, Samuel. His opponent tonight, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red with white and weighing in at a ready 125 pounds. He joins us tonight. His professional record, 7 victories, only 1 defeat. He has 3 big wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, from the fighting city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, please welcome Eric the Outlaw Hunter. Now, ladies and gentlemen, your referee to give the fighters their final instructions.
All right, who's the chief second in each corner? I'm holding you responsible for keeping that corner dry. You understand me? All right, boxers, you received your instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourselves at all times. This is good. Come here. That's high. Touch them up. Let's have a good one.
That's high. That's good.
There's the navel.
Tyrell Samuel is older, naturally bigger, and has a 4-inch reach advantage, as you can see. The reach shouldn't bother Hunter, because he's usually willing to stand and fight in the pocket.
One key here with the rules, Georgia State athletic rules apply and include a standing 8 count. There's no 3 knockdown. Referee, doctor, or commissioner can stop the fight. And those are the incidentals here as we get ready. 8 rounds or less, featherweight. Eric Hunter, 1 loss. Tyrell Samuel coming off his only loss. Hunter's in red, Samuel in the black and white. And watch the hand speed of Eric Hunter. Loves to go with that hook. Not a lot of KOs, but he's always looking for it. Samuel catching, but we did see him flick the jab a little bit, trying to dial into this fight. And Steve, he just has to catch up to Hunter's speed, huh?
That's it. Hunter's all about speed. Like, he's very athletic. He had a great amateur career. It's just, you know, usually on Showbox we feature fighters. We've had a few more fights than Hunter. As far as prospects go, he's very young. 8 fights. Let's see how mature he is and whether he's making that adjustment from amateur to pro.
Well, we know he dealt with adversity and said he injured his hand early in his only loss. So, you know, fighters always have excuses, but if you build something good off it, the positive is he said he took his talents a lot more seriously and not for granted, so he's been training harder.
These fighters, you see Hunter, they're almost identical in bouts, rounds. They're both very young, both very inexperienced. And the big difference, amateurs. Hunter, 176 bouts. He was on an alternate on the 2004 U.S. Olympic team.
Bring him up. Boy, and Samuel's just given that body away, and Hunter warned for a belt line blow there, but he wisely goes to the open target. So Samuel with his guard very high, but open again to the body, and Hunter sinks the jab there.
Nick, doesn't Samuel look a lot bigger?
He absolutely does. He's continually telling Hunter he's not doing anything to hurt him, but he's not punching enough with Hunter.
Right.
You know, Hunter's winning the round that way.
Hunter's moving nicely laterally, landing and slipping. I don't know if Samuel just looks bigger or what.
No, he is, and
it's the trunks. I think. Look at the trunk. You fed a family of 3 in those white trunks.
Let's not get personal.
All right.
Hunter in red. He's won 2 straight since that only loss. There's that shot again, this time a right hand. Creases Samuel's body. He's looking again to go downstairs, maybe to get Samuel to drop those hands and then power up with that left hook. We'll see. Half minute to go in this first of a scheduled 8-rounder.
It's not like Hunter is hurting Samuel at all, but speed can be just as intimidating as power. And right now, Hunter's just too quick, both with his hands and his feet. And that's why Samuel's not getting off.
Yeah, and Samuel, this again is he's never been beyond 6 rounds, nor has Hunter. Samuel's got time, but he's got to start bringing some heat eventually. Maybe trying right now to punch with the faster Hunter. Fairly close round, but it looks like it went to Eric Hunter in red as we close it out here in Doraville, Georgia. Vincent Petway in the corner. He's the former junior middleweight champion of Tyrell Samuel. Both men talked strategy earlier with us about this fight.
Being that he's portrayed as a boxer, I would have to come in, give him a lot of work to the body, to cut that ring off, you know, start with the body and bring it up top, just to cut that ring off, slow him down a bit, because I know he's going to move around the ring, so give him a lot of pressure.
Really use my jab. Once I get the jab going, and the fight is over.
All you got to do is take your time and have fun and take this dude apart. You can't fight a lick. All right? All right, homie? Let's go.
Sloan Harrison in the corner of Eric Hunter since he started boxing as an 8-year-old, so he's been with him through the amateurs and now early in this pro career. I like what he said in terms of confidence. This guy can't fight a lick. I'll tell you, I think Samuel can. I don't say he's in the same class, and he's got a little bit of an uphill battle against a slickster who was so much more experienced as an amateur, as you pointed out, Steve. But Samuel looks technically pretty sound. But let's see if he starts bringing that heat. There he follows up, and that left hook landed, partially blocked, but his best punch of the night. And there's that body work from Hunter.
Now Hunter relies totally on speed and reflexes. Watch when he jabs. He's jabbing a lot. Watch what happens after he jabs. The jab comes back kind of low. A little bit slow, but kind of low. Against a good counterpuncher, that could be a weakness.
And look what happened there. Samuel misses badly. Hunter getting into position very nicely to react and land. Vincent Petway's got to tell Samuel to stop giving up that solar plexus because it's a bullseye for Eric Hunter. He repeatedly is jabbing to the body.
Little blood from the nose of Samuel. He's not, see, when he's punching, he's reaching. And that's because of Hunter's quick feet. Hunter takes that little half step back, and he's out of range.
Right, if he's waiting to counter that shot to the body, here he's in close and doing nothing. There, tried a left hook followed by a right hybrid uppercut, and there's some good power shots. Hunter took them well, blocked some of them, and now there's infighting. And Steve, I agree with Samuel. He feels he's the stronger guy at 126.
I tell you, I don't see much pop on Hunter's punches at all. On one of the tapes we saw of him fighting down in Glen Burnie, Maryland, he scored a knockout with the first punch of the fight. It was a devastating knockout. But right here, he's depending more on placing his shots and volume punching. Very little power on Eric Hunter's shots.
I agree with you, Steve. Nice lead right hand. He followed up with that hook to the body. Not a lot on it, though. Now it's Samuel trying to walk Hunter down and just whiffing. So Hunter gets in position, scores, and then gets out. So he's fighting fast.
And he gets out with those quick feet. That's the most underrated and underused technique of defense, is just moving your feet back after you punch or when your opponent punches.
Well, we heard the guy up in our main event, Kevin Johnson, a big heavyweight, say, watch me, I could fly too. We'll see about that coming up in our main event later. A little frustration from Sammy. He had Hunter in the corner and let him off the hook. A little bit sloppiness on both sides.
It's easy. See, he's fighting on his left foot, right? How you feeling, Dave? Good? Yeah, listen, he's fighting on his left foot. All you gotta do is take your time, keep reaching in that gut. Take a deep breath. Come on. Easy fight, all. Let's take your time, step around. All right? Take your time and pick your shot.
You see here in round two what Hunter's doing with his jab. And it comes back real low, that jab to the body. It's a dangerous punch to throw for that reason. Later in the round, Samuel showing a little spark. The only time he lands, actually the only time he throws, is when Hunter is stationary in the middle of the ring, and that isn't too often.
Good point, Steve.
Go, Sackett,
round
get that
3
one.
of a scheduled 8-round featherweight fight. Tyrell Samuel is in white, and there's a bucket in the middle of the ring. So,
is that so he'll step in the bucket when he throws his left foot?
That's good.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. Have you?
Well, not that bad. I mean, that guy's aim was horrible.
Get it all out here. Get here, too. Get here.
Yeah,
Right
and
there.
look, this is Vincent Petway. He's been humbled. He's had a junior middleweight championship belt, and now he's mopping the floor here in Atlanta, but only temporarily. He's the right guy in the corner for Tyrell Samuel, but admitted to us he would have liked 2 more weeks to have prep his guy for Eric Hunter.
Yeah, about 2 weeks notice for Samuel.
Now Samuel coming out with a lot more conviction, trying to put some punches together. He's really popping the jab now. So even if Hunter is faster, as we said, he definitely is, why not punch with him? That is one way, as you talk about, Steve.
Especially when you have the reach advantage. Remember, Samuel with the reach advantage on Hunter.
Yeah, I mean,
4 inches. Yeah.
It's not necessarily classic boxer against big puncher by any means, but it's how does Samuel catch up to this kind of speed from Eric Hunter? And he's trying to bring heat in a controlled manner. He's been sloppy at times. He's been frustrated like there. And it's been a fairly sloppy fight, Steve.
Yeah, it has. You know, we're only 2 rounds plus into this, and we had seen Hunter on the Mike Arna-Udis Kendall Holt undercard. It wasn't a televised fight. I liked what I saw. What I'm looking for, because he's only 20, you know, he's had very few pro fights. What I see is a lot of speed and a lot of good boxing instincts. What I also see is not much power, and he's a smallish featherweight. You know, I don't know if he wouldn't be better suited fighting at 122. He promises that his future is at featherweight.
That's a good point. He came in at 25, which was 1 under, made weight so easily. Samuel, on the other hand, likes to fight at 26, and Vincent Petway would like him to fight at 30. They got more to worry about, like each other right now, as Samuel shakes off that right hand to the body, and it scored. It's a pretty big round for Hunter, it seems. Samuel started fast, and he's been unable to put anything together since.
And this is where Samuel should be doing his work, because he's the bigger, stronger featherweight. He wants to get inside. That takes away the speed advantage.
Boy, Steve, you got to take every free shot there is. Like there, why cover up? You're close enough. You're in punching range. Doesn't make sense.
You're right. And that's why Hunter's ahead 2 rounds to 0, soon to be 3 rounds to 0.
Right. If you think you're the stronger guy, then get inside, stay inside, and work. Don't get outworked inside. Because now Hunter's controlling range. Quick lead right hand from Eric Hunter as he took over round 3.
I like the body work, though. I give Hunter points for that. He's fighting the guy who started. Samuel started with his hands high up.
Absolutely. Blood coming from the nose of Samuel, it appears, and Hunter with some big swings here before the bell. Tomorrow night is America's Fight Night. Watch that war of super bantamweights.
For fighters around the world, only one night matters. One night to achieve their dreams, to emerge as a superstar. That night is on the first Saturday of every month. Tomorrow, after going toe-to-toe in one of the best super bantamweight fights in years, champion Rafael Marquez.
Marquez going in for the finish.
And former champ Israel Vasquez.
Vasquez knocks Marquez down.
Collide in a championship rematch. Will Marquez keep his 7-year winning streak intact? Or will Vasquez get his revenge? Marquez versus Vasquez, the rematch, tomorrow at 9. Only on Showtime, America's #1 boxing network.
Boy, 2 guys who can really hit and really box. They've got it all, don't they, Steve?
Those 2 will make war tomorrow guaranteed, because it's just their instinct and their nature.
Boy, full of intrigue. Marquez Vasquez, 9 o'clock Eastern Pacific here on Showtime. Right now we're in Atlanta. Tyrell Samuel in white, and in the red is Eric Hunter. Each guy with a loss. Neither has been beyond 6. This scheduled for 8. As we hit the 4th. And now Samuel trying to do work on the inside, much busier. There are those free shots. Take them. Hunter trying to turn him. But Steve, it does look Hunter really needs his distance, doesn't he?
He does. He's much more effective from the outside because he relies on speed so much. And, you know, watching him defensively, he does a real good job of keeping his right hand up to block the left hook. As far as his left hand, he keeps that low, and he kind of uses the Mayweather left shoulder as a defense against the right hand. And he told us yesterday he loves the way Mayweather fights. A lot of guys are watching Mayweather these days, right?
I'm afraid to ask anymore who's your favorite fighter. Hunter looping left-handed, misses. Now Samuel's got to be doing something. He's inside, tries to dig to the body with a combination, Warren to keep him up. But Hunter again controlling that distance. I really feel at times he's a little confused inside and shortening up his shots. But again, the guy's had 8 professional fights. It's not a knock, it's an observation. Like here. He gets clipped on the exchange with a left hook from Samuel. But Hunter, to his credit, is the busier guy when they're inside. And he's winning rounds, inside and out.
Well, Samuel clearly having trouble with the speed and movement of Hunter, but you know what? from Hunter's perspective, he has to try to learn with his trainer, Sloan Harrison, how to keep that speed, but turn it up a notch in terms of punching power. He doesn't really commit to his punches. I think of some of the other featherweights we've had on Showbox, Robert Guerrero, who's had success, world champion, Mario Santiago. They hit a lot harder than Hunter. They were further along in their careers when we had them on Showbox, but they commit to their punches much harder. Hunter is more interested in pecking and poking.
He is. Good point, Steve. Samuel trying to catch up with Eric Hunter here. We're in the fourth, hitting the halfway mark. And neither guy seriously shook at all in this fight. That's a big left hook or counter from Samuel.
Yeah, and I don't like the way Hunter pulls away from that left hook. Samuel's landed 1 or 2 left hooks, as you called, Nick, earlier in this round, and just missed that one. I don't love it. I'd like to see Hunter bend at the knees to slip the left hook instead of just pulling his head back.
Well, he is trying to circle and turn Samuel at times. They're inside. Nice work from Hunter, and he zips out of danger.
Good work, man. That'll work. It's better. That's better, okay? Now, keep putting that pressure. Use that jab, work through everything behind jab. Keep your hands up. You see, trying those little sneaky shots. 1, 2 here and there. Give me the water, John. 1, 2, water. So take a deep breath. How you feel? Feel good, man. Listen, keep putting the pressure. We gotta let them hands go a little bit more, okay? Okay? We get to where I want. We walking them down now. Now, just let them hands go. Everything behind the jab to that body. When you get inside, you're standing too tall. Feel fast. Doing every round. All right? Follow the plan. Left hand. Right? Look good. Don't take your eye off. You're still trying to get you.
Steve, it's not as if anybody's dominated, but I can't really figure on my card giving Samuel a round. How do you have it halfway?
No, I agree with you. I have it 40-36, 4 rounds to 0 for Eric Hunter. Samuel hasn't been busy enough. You know,
but it's not as if it's some kind of a mismatch. He hasn't been overwhelmed, or in terms of Hunter's clear talent.
Sure.
He's very much could be in this fight. Maybe one good hard shot.
Well, Hunter's winning this fight with his body punching. He hasn't been all that effective upstairs. It's not like he's out jabbing Samuel by that much. He's just committed to the body shots, led to the body. And great words from Petway to Samuel, saying to Samuel, you're standing too straight up when you're inside, and that's exactly true.
Not getting leverage. Also a target. He's got to go to the body himself. Not a good idea. Referees had an easy job. Very little clinching. Just a couple of warnings. Hunter complaining he was hit behind the head. Samuel not even attempting to jab with Hunter. Hunter just creating that space. Look, he's in the zone he wants to be.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, what Samuel's doing is he's walking to Hunter, but he's doing it with his gloves high and not punching. And for a fighter with quick feet like Hunter, it's not going to work.
He's a lost puppy out there.
That left hook is what I want to see from Samuel. It's the punch that can catch Hunter.
Why again do you think, Steve?
Well, Hunter pulls away. He keeps his right glove up, so he's not that easy to hit when he's inside. But when he pulls away, he does it with his glove down, and that's when Samuel can catch him.
I think you're out of some, because Samuel is trying that. Trying to land that hook. Hunter just picking him apart.
Nice composure, though, for a young kid. He's only 20. Seems to be in control.
Very much so, Steve. That's the first impression I got watching the tape. Really fights with a lot of composure. There, another free shot for him. He took it, banging the right to the body of Samuel. Now Samuel's got to get busy, but he's standing up straight again, Steve, just as you mentioned.
Yeah, when he's on the inside, he's got to bend his knees and get a little lower. And you know what composure means? A few seconds ago, Hunter was on the ropes here just above us. He was on the ropes for about a second and a half, and he was done. That's composure and ring generalship.
Yeah, while it doesn't score points, it puts you in a position again to land, to throw shots, and to stay away from trouble. There, ooh, nice right hand from Hunter in close, and he elects to stay there. As the 5th round melts down here in Doraville, Georgia on Showbox. Among the fight fans here in Georgia, Georgia native and new junior middleweight champion Vernon Forrest. Congratulations on his win over Carlos Baldomir.
Boy, he looked good, Nick. He turned the clock back.
Back in the mix, huh?
Oh, back in the mix, and I'm happy for him because he's one of the good guys in boxing.
Yeah, sincerely so, and actually a neighbor of mine, but he's moving. I don't know what I did wrong.
Well, he said he was going to move because of all the wild parties at your house.
That's true, yeah. Well,
too much
he
noise.
was invited. I don't know what's wrong with him. Maybe he was training, huh? We hit the 6th. It's Eric Hunter in the red. Off his stool first, Tyrell Samuel. Arguably has not won a round, and he's got to force the issue, bring some serious heat. And as I always say, you got to take some chances. If Hunter doesn't have pulverizing power, and I'm not taking his shots, but it doesn't look like he does, Steve. At the risk of looking silly and really getting clocked, let's make this an inside fight. If you got to know you're behind on the cards.
Well, he's coming out hard this round. And the 5th round, I did give it to Hunter, but I think it was the closest round yet. You could argue that Samuel won it.
There's Samuel now standing up straight again, but at least pecking away with body shots. Samuel not punching his way in, as you said, doing nothing, just walking in behind, no jab. Now he has to restart, and Hunter really just grazed him there. Hunter content to almost counter. So Hunter waiting on Samuel, and Samuel waiting on him.
Stay off his neck.
Boy, Hunter's 20 years old, Nick. You look at his face, I think he could pass for about 15. He is a young-looking kid.
He's a charming guy.
He is, yeah.
Very likable. And Samuel saying, you know, he had to grab this great opportunity, and he wishes he would have had more time to prep. But they know Hunter's a quality opponent. Nobody's disparaged him in the least in the Samuel corner.
My favorite moment yesterday during the fighter meetings, Nick says to Hunter, Eric, what about the fact that Philadelphia fighters have the reputation of being soft? And Eric Hunter doesn't know Nick, and he had no idea for a split second there that you were kidding, and the look on his face was like, what?
That's, actually Rich Gaughan said that, our producer, because he knew Benny Briscoe wasn't anywhere to be found, or guys like that.
I'm trying to give you credit.
I would never say that.
I'm trying to give you credit for our producer's line.
And he's got all the good ones.
Break! Get back.
Just not enough consistency of attack for Samuel. He had a real good first 30 seconds. He was walking down Hunter, but look what's happening now. He's on the defensive. Wow, nice counter right hand by Samuel as I say that. But there's not a consistency of attack, and maybe that has something to do with the fact that 2 weeks notice for this, he's not in 100% shape.
Perfectly put. I was just going to ask you, what do you attribute that to? He's got to know he's behind. You know he's got to fight 3 minutes a round. But certainly at this point, there's got to be an air of, I got to get it done now. I'm running out of clock. But you're right, if you're running out of gas a little bit.
Hunter slowed down too this round. Not much offense from Hunter.
Well, again, neither has been beyond 6, but again, they haven't severely pressed the pace.
Listen, it ain't gonna work unless there's anything off the stick, all right? Because you're trying to get him while he's right out there watching you, right?
Action from round 6. Hunter's quickness, quick feet. He's on the outside, he's waiting to the body and out, and there he kept his right glove up. Good work. Again, though, he's committed the entire fight to the body. That's another reason Samuel hasn't been able to mount a consistent offense. And there's the right hand by Samuel, a counter shot. That was probably the best punch of the fight for him.
So safe to say as we head to the 7th of a Schedule 8 rounder that Eric Hunter has controlled the flow of this fight. Tyrell Samuel unable to bring consistent heat, stay on top, muscle, maybe push around Eric Hunter. Or how about working Hunter's legs, our body to take away the legs? We haven't seen enough of that.
Very true. He's done very little body punching. Trying to use some here.
Yeah, working in tight. Hunter elects to stay there and slug with him. Now he'll back off. And this is the kind of fight Samuel should be in. This is the kind of fight he should create. It's the only way he's going to get the openings.
And again, as we said at the top, not only does he,
there it was,
right uppercut, not only does he look like the bigger guy, he is the naturally bigger guy.
And it's there again, that little corkscrew right hand. Oh, that was a low blow, and the referee saw it from Hunter. Samuel's like a new guy this round for 45 seconds. Again, they haven't been beyond the 6th. Both look plenty fresh, but neither has been pressed. No knockdowns, nobody hurt. We want a little bit more action, don't we, Steve?
Well, it seems like, you know, Samuel starts every round attacking hard, crisp, gets inside, lands some shots. The second and third minutes of the round, it's gone.
Yeah, boy, he's really inside, trying to get a little bit more leverage, and he's loving that uppercut. He had great success the one time, that right hand, and he's trying it whenever he's in there. Follow-up shots there. Looking away, and he chases Hunter down. So Samuel having a good round. Got to keep punching here. Hunter comes up, slips underneath. Samuel trying to hammer home that power shot.
You know, it's a small step in a fighter's career, but for Hunter going from 6 to 8, which he's going to be doing tonight in a fight that certainly looks like it's going the distance, that's a step.
You know, it's a good point, Steve. And Sloan Harrison, his trainer, had said, you know, I want him to sort of learn to pace himself and as you stretch out. But, you know, he's a guy really in a hurry. He's certainly not the finished product yet, and he hasn't won this fight by any means. He's dominating, but Samuel hasn't shook him up at all.
And I think there should be no rush with Hunter. I don't think he has a man's body yet. He's only 20. The lighter the fighter, usually the younger the prime, but in his case, I think he could use a little more oomph on the punches.
Understood. Samuel waiting. It looks like a rerun of early in the fight. Hunter able to punch when he wants, rest when he wants, move when he wants, and not get hit.
Action from round 7. Hey, an uppercut. Haven't seen that, and it worked. And a right hand to follow by Samuel. Everything he's done well has come in the first minute of each round. Then he slows down.
Right in front of me. Let the right hand go. Straighten right hand by itself sometimes, but don't leave it over here. Straighten it out.
Last round.
Straighten it out, okay?
Last round. Play the corner.
You want him. Okay?
You don't want the pressure, baby.
You don't like the pressure, baby.
You don't want it.
Take some deep breath.
Give him what he don't want.
Deep breath.
Stick, slip and slide, get around him. You know what I mean?
Decision.
Don't give him nothing. All right, that's it.
Okay? We need this. We need insurance. Don't leave it there.
Ready for the 8th and final round here at Doraville, Georgia. Tyrell Samuel needs something extra large here. Eric Hunter is going to keep away and maybe dance his way and don't give Samuel a chance to get lucky.
Vincent Petway, Tyrell Samuel's trainer, said he's teaching Samuel every shot doesn't have to be a big shot. I think he needs a big shot.
I think he does.
Better go back, scratch that advice.
He needs a Grand Slam home run. Now he's got him trapped, but again, that is quickness from Hunter. Quick feet, as you said, Steve. And literally, Samuel let him off the ropes. Samuel not punching again. Could be a little bit of conditioning, but that's, I don't want to over-rely on that as an excuse. Hunter is outclassing Samuel.
So hits on the back.
Boy, committed from round 1 through 8 to the body has been Eric Hunter.
And as you said earlier, Steve, that is the biggest plus I think I've seen. We knew coming in how much quickness he had, hand and foot, but that's a great element for a fighter to have. But it has been open. And you don't even have to create the opening. So in terms of a learning process, you know, when it's there, at least you're finding the opening. That's the start. You know, he could feint perhaps Samuel and let him commit. I thought he was going to start headhunting more after he kept going to the body. Samuel would drop his hands, but Hunter's just found a home down low.
Exactly, Nick. And if you're sitting at home and you're watching this fight and you're saying to yourself, or maybe you're saying to this TV screen, why isn't Tyrell Samuel throwing more punches? Well, when you get hit to the body, it hurts a lot more than when you get hit to the head. And it slows you down. It brings your arms down, and it takes your breath away. And he's been hit to the body all 8 rounds, and that's why he doesn't have it now late in the fight.
But certainly it's quantity, not necessarily quality punches, right, to the body? I mean, when I say quality, they're clean punches, but they're not hellacious shots.
No, not Rafael Marquez left hook to the body, no.
But looking at the last few seconds in a fight, Eric Hunter apparently has wrapped up if he doesn't get completely careless. That body attack, albeit not pulverizing power, is still something good to add to an arsenal of a young fighter.
No doubt. In that sense, he's already a pro. He's got the body attack down. That's something a lot of young fighters don't have until much later in their careers.
Well, Samuel, with a moral victory, finished on his feet. He's never really hurt. But Steve, your official card?
79-73 for Hunter. I gave Samuel only 1 round.
Couldn't argue with that. Couldn't say it better, and I wouldn't even try.
Don't worry. Yo, D, back stand up. I love you, my kids. Mom, Dad, I love you. Lady Thomas, I'll be back home. Easy work. That's mine.
Not a lot of drama. Crowd needs a wake-up call. You know, and again, it was difficult to describe, Steve, in that it wound up as not a terrible mismatch. Samuel kept trying, but he definitely, all I could say, was outclassed in this one. And he's not a terrible fighter by any means. It wasn't like a guy with 10 fights saying this guy with hardly an amateur career doesn't belong in the same ring, but you could see the potential quality in Eric Hunter clearly nearly every round.
And you can see his confidence because he was willing to commit to go to the body, stand inside, punch, and then get out. You saw the classy moves, and that all comes from the classy amateur background he has.
J.D. Lyons, our ring announcer, will make it official now.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of action, we go to the Showbox scorecards.
All day long, baby.
All 3 judges, Canner, Deutsch, and Oliver, scoring about 79-73, with Oliver scoring about 78-74. All 3 for your winner by unanimous decision, Eric the Outlaw
tell you, Steve Farhood, there's pretty much of a gap between your 79-73 and the judges total up. Either they're watching Showbox, but they took your lead perfect. You were right on the button.
Well, if they're listening to my scoring, boy, they're in for a rude awakening.
No, it's that was clear cut. As we look at all three scorecards, basically Eric Hunter having his way, and just quick assessment again, Steve, with a guy now with only 9 professional fights, great amateur career. He's shaking off some of the amateur habits and taking on some pro attributes, huh?
Consistency of attack was good. I'd like to see more pop when he goes upstairs, but he's got the speed. Eric Hunter has the speed. He has a lot of good instincts, and he's very, very composed and cool in the ring and comfortable in the ring, and you can't teach that. And for a fighter with fewer than 10 pro fights, that's a very good attribute. So I'm impressed. I think I felt the same way after the first round, after the 8th round, as I did after the first round with Eric Hunter. I think we saw the same things in each round from him.
Eric Hunter, a winner. Our heavyweights to come.
Grandma, thanks. Hi.